So now we're here, and we've got the Euro-African gene pool, who brought over the African gene pool. The Native American gene pool was already here. Asiatic African gene pool with immigration. We have been intermixing. We've got all kind of African culture, Asian culture, all that's making up American culture. American culture isn't European culture. It's a combination of all of those above. Now, wouldn't America be boring if it wasn't? That's why everybody wants to copy American culture. This is who we are here in the United States. That's the average genetic admixture. As you can see, hardly nobody up there is pure anything. The average African American has about 25% European gene pool. Black women, or African American women, have 18-20%, African American men close to 30. You know why? Because how the gene pool was transmitted to the slaves was usually through the white slave master. I'm moving fast. This is who I am. I'm told I'm 50% African, 46% European, and 3% Asian. When my wife saw this, she said, "Boy, you just made it." Talking all that stuff. But you can see we're all everything. And I love every drop of me. There is nobody who's just black or just white. And if you are, I got all European genes. I just told you they came from Africa. That's my certificate. And now, you want to know where your daddy is? This is North Kittle stuff. I'm going to go through it real quick. I found out that my mother's my father's part went to Cameroon and Dakar after. How much time do we have? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay. Talking about racism. What do I mean by racism? And this is a powerful term. I like to use Dr. Kamara Phyllis Jones's definition when she says we have personally mediated racism defined as, this keeps going out, I don't know if it's trapping up there. Is this better? Okay. This was personally mediated racism. That's individual discrimination such as we see with the KKK and Gen 6, and this is kind of what we get all upset about. But I suggest to you that that's not what's killing us. It's the institutionalized racism, customs, laws, criminal laws such as crack cocaine and powdered cocaine, health inequities, Katrina aftermath. See, I call that racialized poverty. You know, people just like to say, well, it's because they were poor. Why did you get so many blacks that were poor? Either they had a poverty gene or there was something else going on. And then we have internalized racism, and this is what Bill Cosby talks about. Victim internalizes negative perceptions. We got a collective low self-esteem. I think Dr. Clark did a study. It was part of the Brown versus Board of Education study where he looked at the dolls and how little black babies chose the white doll. I mean, that still happens today. My little girl, when she was growing up, okay, did they? Yeah. Yeah, well, I have a 15-year-old, and aware of that study, she was choosing white dolls. She really was. And so me and my wife had an argument because we got ready to send her to school, and there was this nice private school with computers and all this, and I insisted that she go to this poor black school. She doesn't choose white dolls anymore. Is it still happening today? This is a study of racial groups, and all I want you to see here, they asked the question, ethnic groups opposed to marriage with various other groups. Now, what's interesting here is they said, would you want to marry into this group? And what's interesting is blacks got the highest negative. Okay? Blacks got the highest negative. Now, that really didn't surprise me. What did surprise me was the 3% blacks down there that wouldn't choose black. But this was another study done at Vanderbilt where this professor looked at recent immigrants, legal immigrants, and measured their skin color, 1 to 10. And basically discovered the immigrants with darker skin
earned on average, or immigrants with lighter skin earned on average 8 to 15% more than darker skin. And if you were short, it was a double whammy. Just based upon skin color. Okay? So you got more money, more money. I'm almost through, going through. Now, wrapping it up, actually we talk about genes and we talk about what it is. This is my simplistic way. I heard somebody say earlier, you know, there is this thing about trying to find a biological reason for health disparities. And the NIH is off into it. Everybody else is off into it. Clearly, biology plays a role. Clearly, genes play a role. But genes themselves do nothing without an effect from the environment. And those environmental factors include lifestyle, diet, infectious disease, chemicals, societal stresses such as racism and discrimination. And there's another talk that I give just on this, how those things affect the genome and why maybe some of the things we see. So it's not just the genes. Question. Which population has been found to have the high frequency of the Y chromosome Cohen model haplotype that is characteristic of the Jewish priesthood and frequently found in the Jewish population? The Cohen is a name in the Jewish community that, and somebody who's Jewish helped me with this, supposedly came down from Moses' brother Abraham, one or the other, and his males, that family continued the priesthood. And so when they unraveled the genome, those in Israel said, well, we want to measure the Y chromosome in those named Cohen to see, and indeed they found a higher level in those named Cohen. Well, there were certain groups throughout the world that claimed to have Jewish ancestry or claimed to have Jewish roots, and none of them got any recognition. So which one do you think proved to have a high level of the Y chromosome? Now, somebody's cheating because they studied. It's a tribe down around South Africa that looks just like me, or even more African than me, that had as high. Now, culturally, customs were very similar to the Jews. They had a verbal history of coming someplace from the north. So there's a lot of speculation about what this means. Were they the 12th tribe or what? Very interesting. Who are we, is my point. Which of the following is likely to be your mama or your daddy? All of the above. Nefertiti of Africa, Julius Caesar, Kim Jong-un, none of the above. Why do I say that? Because if you look and practice mathematics, that's you at the bottom. That's your mother and your father. They had a mother and father. Third generation had mother and fathers. And by the time you get to the fourth generation, there's 32 of them. If you carried that mathematics out, 25 generations, that's about 500 years, each of us would have had over 1 million relatives. Now, how could that be? Because we're all related. We all had same relatives. We are a very dysfunctional family. Talking about, no, my mama wouldn't. I just found out I had relatives down here. Dr. Hood, I believe I'm related to you. or your brother, or your husband. They just found out that these two were cousins. Now, damn, if they can be related, certainly anybody could be related. Katie's wife just did a book, and she was studying his genealogy and found out she was related to Barack Obama. I love that. So now we get our history of President Obama's past medical history, social history, family history. We know who we are. Now we're ready for a diagnosis. Okay? Because we got centuries of dehumanization, centuries of enslavement, centuries of scientific racism, unethical medical experimentation, collective and individual dehumanization, leading to a current day health inequity. And one of the reasons why we still have a problem is denial of structural racism. We like to act like it doesn't exist. And I tell folks, we think we have 50 states in the United States, but there's really 51. Do you know what the 51st state is called? state of denial. Because if you believe that past, what I just described, has nothing to do with the current health disparities, you live in that state of denial. So we have health inequities. That's the correct diagnosis because of racism. That has caused health care disparities and health disparities. There's a difference between health care disparities and health disparities. And the treatment and solutions, I'm sorry I have to rush, and I want to end with a great quote, of all forms of injustice, inequity in health care is shocking and inhumane. But I wanted to talk about another brother of mine, now that I know we're related. When Einstein said, insanity is when we keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We need a universal health care system, guaranteed all citizens basic health access and coverage, health resources restructuring, health disparities institute. We need to have specific entities that are created just to deal with this issue of health disparities. We need social reengineering, establishing a livable minimum wage, government, private sector. We need more minorities in health, etc. So I'm sorry I had to rush. And I'm sorry, sometimes the criticism I get is, Dr. Hood, you don't spend enough time on solutions. And you know what I recognize? We know what the solution is. You're the solution. Students, you're the solution. Okay? You need to take what I just said, digest it, develop a passion. My criticism of students these days is they don't have any passion, and when they do, they don't know how to express it, because us parents and folks have forced them not to. When we're up here, we're supposed to have be objective. There is not one objective lecture that you all have heard. So the information may be objective, the interpretation isn't.